What is up, YouTube people? Northeast Ohio Sports Cards here for the Sunday morning week that was in sports cards. The NBA playoffs have finally arrived. Will it save us? Will the NBA playoffs save the sports card market? The Dallas Card Show is going on. Well, probably wrapping up or wrapped up by the time most of you listen to this. I was unable to attend. However, been hearing some good stuff coming out of there so far. I will be curious to see all the stories and nonsense and shenanigans that kind of float out from Dallas. Gonna talk a decent amount of basketball and baseball today, and then touch on a few football topics. Have Sunday spotlight at the end of the video, and a mini announcement at the front of the video. So YouTube stuff down below. Like, comment, subscribe, market movers links, eBay affiliate link. You guys know the drill. With all that being said, let's rock and roll. First things first. Small announcement. I will be joining Sports Card Anonymous tonight at 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Basically, immediately following Lakers Suns. We were trying to line up a time on when to do this. And I said, wait, let's check the NBA schedule. So basically at the conclusion of Lakers Suns, which should be around 6 p.m., I'll be going live on Sports Cards Anonymous channel with him. I think he kind of just does more of a laid back Q&A type of thing, kind of like I do on my live streams. He said he might have some specific questions for me, but I think it's kind of like a chat dictates the show type thing. He does quality work over there. He was the Sunday Spotlight at one point in time, probably been about a month or two now. So highly recommend check out his channel. I will post the link to this in the description down below, but I will be live with him 6 p.m. tonight to talk all things sports cards and whatever else we could get ourselves into. So I'm sure there'll be a lot of playoff talk and probably whatever happens in that Lakers Suns game, depending on how that one finishes up. That being said, I should mention, since we are in the playoffs and things get a little wild and crazy this time of year, I will note I am recording this just after Luka not eliminated, beat the Clippers in game one. The Nets and Celtics have not played yet, and the Nuggets and Blazers have not played yet. So if something absolutely nonsensical happens in those games, I have not seen that happen yet. The NBA playoffs so far have been interesting. They will be, I don't think we felt the full effect yet in regards to the card market. Maybe we won't. I don't know, but it's only really been one full day. So it's hard to tell too much, but we could see a little glimmer of hope. Maybe. But way too soon to say. And stuff will be volatile this time of year with the playoffs. So, but the NBA playoffs have been great. It is nice to see actual basketball that the teams and players care about, and not random 30 and 40 point blowouts. Really, all the games have been absolutely great so far. That Grizzlies Warriors game for the play-in was awesome. The Bucks Heat earlier today was really good. Dallas Clippers today, while it wasn't an overtime game, was very solid. Luka played great. Looked a little tired in the fourth quarter, but I think that's to be expected. I'm not super excited about Celtics Nets tonight, but I am super excited for Denver Blazers just to see MPJ and see what he could do. But you guys and girls already know the results of that. And then today, later today, as in Sunday, this is weird when you record these ahead of time, I'm very excited for Suns Lakers. I think that's the prime piece of meat on the menu this weekend, and really this whole first round. So let's get into basketball first, since that's kind of top of mind. Regarding Dallas, I haven't heard of like the player of the show yet. It seems to be on a lot. I was watching Personal Finance Dad, his videos that he's been posting. I watched the video that they did with Personal Finance Dad, Comeback Card Investor, and Flipping Steve. And then, just general Instagram stuff of the people that I follow. Seems to be a lot of people looking for Tom Brady. I watched Jeff Wilson's video that he posted while he was there. So I'm hoping I'm going to reach out to some people and see if maybe I could get a guest or two on this week, since I'm now kind of got StreamYard figured out finally after all this year. Um, to talk maybe Dallas and just kind of what the vibe. I'm very curious what the vibe of the show was. If anyone was there, please let me know in the comments down below. Like, was it mostly people just trying to trade? Was there a lot of cash transactions? Was people just trying to sell? That kind of stuff. So let's get into some specific cards. Number 1, Ja Morant, PSA 10 base prism. Shows a little heartbeat at the tail end of the week. Just as over the last 7 days, you can see last Sunday it was going for 286. It dipped all the way down to 227. And then he played absolutely fantastic. They were officially in the playoffs, and you could see this jumped back up to 285. So while on the week, it's basically been flat. You could see it was really trending down. I think people were getting really scared off by them getting the Warriors, myself included. But it has definitely peaked back up again with an absolutely fantastic game out of him, which is exactly what I wanted to see. As someone that's been a big Ja Morant believer and has said I like Ja more than Zion on a billion different occasions, and I stick by that, last night was exactly what I wanted to see. I don't know that they could beat the Jazz. I don't think that they can unless Mitchell's just still really hurt, but we'll see. That was definitely an impressive win by the Jazz or by the Grizzlies, even over a obviously not fully operational Death Star in the Golden State Warriors with no Klay Thompson and them just being generally banged up. So Ja Morant showing signs of life. Like I said, I would love to see a competitive series against the Jazz. We will see. Once again, I don't know. These playoff prices, they're not going to be super sustainable. If he wins a game or two, they're going to keep going up. If they lose a game or two, people are smart now. They're going to start selling out early. If it looks like a series is going wrong, there's going to be a dip in prices before that team's even eliminated. We saw that last year with Luka for sure. The only thing that kept him up was he kept popping game winners, and then his prices would spike back up again. Next up, Morant's running mate, Triple J, Jaren Jackson Jr., also seen a nice little increase this week, up 15%. Once again, I'm using PSA 10 base prism just because that's the most of them. It's the easiest to track prices on this stuff. And if you're looking to buy any of these players or anything crazy like that, obviously consider prism, select, color, numbered stuff, whatever. Go with whatever you want. We're just using this as a baseline trend for the health of the market around these individual players, because even though people are off prism based for the most part, it still kind of dictates how the market moves. So he's up 15%, back up close to around about $100. Really like his game. He played fairly well yesterday. Him and Morant getting on the same page would be great. I know he missed most of the season, so we will see if his prices continue to climb as well. Once again, it's all just going to come down to how these teams play. You were basically sports betting at this point in time. Tatum stuff got real cheap. It dropped all the way down at the beginning of the week, was at $430 for his PSA 10 Prism. And, people are getting off base Prism, but the 2017 stuff and earlier is not like ridiculously high pop count. There's 5,000 of these. Like, that's a lot, but it's not like 20,000 like Luka and Zion and Ja are headed for. So, dumping his base Prism for other stuff is fine because the other stuff's even lower, Select and Optic, but that was getting really cheap. Obviously, he had the 50 ball, and his stuff spiked right back up again. Up 20% on the week, up $80, back up over 500. The nice thing to see here, regardless whether you think these numbers can hold, is that the money is still out there, and people are looking to spend it when players play well with the spotlight on them like this. In the regular season, I just think it's really hard for people to keep track of everything that's going on, regardless of sport. And that's why we see these prices dip. Just from fatigue. Like, they play every night. They don't always have the spotlight on them. They have off games, etc. Once the playoffs come, the spotlight is on these guys. When they perform, their prices are going to go up. At least they always have in the past. And these signs, though, we're only a day in, and there's really only been play-in games so far on the charts and graphs. It's encouraging to see prices moving up when these players are playing well. Tatum balled out, prices are going up. Morant balled out, prices are going up. That's encouraging to see given what the NBA market has done the last 3 months, really. So, moving off Tatum, let's go into some guys that have been getting a little bit hammered this week. We talked about Kobe in the Hall of Fame video I did the other day. His prices are down 25%, down 1,400, and I ran this over the last 14 days. The last 7 was about half that change, but I just kind of wanted to get a little bit of a bigger picture on him and just kind of show what's going on here. And we talk about this all the time. So what happens is people hold back for the announcement. The announcement happens, and then too many hit the market for the number of buyers that are out there. And if you actually look at how peaked the number of sales are in the middle of this week, right after or right around the Hall of Fame announcement. I think that was actually the Hall of Fame announcement day. So number of sales went way up, prices went way down. That was actually the day, other than today or yesterday, 3,900. The 15th was 4,500 and 4,300. And those are the same days. 15th, 12 of them sold that day. You know, the day before and the day after were the two highest numbers of sales for an entire 2-week span. I don't think it's that surprising that those are also the days that the prices dipped the hardest, other than yesterday. Because now the new comps are set, so people aren't overpaying for it. But once again, if you're planning on selling around an announcement like this, sell before the announcement. Don't wait till the last minute. So if everyone's saying sell on this particular day, sell like a week early. Zion, just kind of a check-in on his prices with him, completely being eliminated, obviously. I've been trying to use him as a barometer for how far these guys are going to drop once they get bounced. Over the last 7, actually, I'm sorry. This one's last 7. Down another 10%, down $70 and has dipped below 500. So he's down to 485. I asked the question, I think it was 2 weeks ago, or maybe it was last Sunday. I don't remember. Where is the bottom on Zion? A lot of people said around 4 to 450. 450 seemed to be the most common answer, and that's about where my guess was too. If things keep trending this direction, it might actually go low. I think 400 might be the floor, but we will see. I don't remember exactly when his injury was off the top of my head. Let me just see what he's down. So really over the last 2 weeks, it's not much of a change. If we go back a full month, it's a 20% drop. But the injury happened after that. So I could definitely see this going through 450 and maybe ending up between 4 and 450 for his final price on where it settles in the summer. And once again, if you're a buyer on Zion, at least for a long-term hold, don't be going for base prism. But I think you can quick flip it. This thing goes down to 400, assuming the market normalizes. I do think it goes back up again before next season starts. There's going to be a ton of hype behind him, especially if the Pelicans go out and make a bunch of moves. So that could be something. I look at base prism as the thing that you move in and out of. You're not holding it for long periods of time. You're getting into it in a bottom out period like this. Hold it for a couple months and then sell it before next season starts, and use that profit that you make to maybe go buy the courtside or the premier or a silver or something like that. Last one, LaMelo Ball. Just kind of wanted to check in on his base prism, and this is raw. There's still just not that much graded stuff with him yet. And I went back 14 days on this one, down 30% with him getting eliminated. I think this continues to slide down. It might start to bottom out soon. I'll be curious to see where the raw price holds on him. And also where the PSA 10 price settles in, just because there's not going to be a ton of them. With PSA shutting down right at the time of that product release, there's just not going to be a lot of PSA 10s on the market. So I think that's really going to be artificially inflated. We're going to talk about this again later when we talk about football, but select basketball is coming, and I'll probably make a standalone video on this. Just be careful out there. They printed select football absolutely into the ground. We've covered that before on the channel. Plenty of people have been talking about it. There's just a ton of it out there, at least in football. Don't go chasing really anything early on. If you want LaMelo select and you're not ripping, just let the market play itself out. Like I said, we'll get to it when we talk about football. I pulled a bunch of Herbert stuff up. But don't go chasing that stuff the first month, really. It's on the market when it comes to singles. If you're not ripping wax and you're just sitting back and you want to buy like select court sides, just wait a month before you even look at anybody. Especially as we're entering the offseason, because it's not like these rookies are really going to be popping off in the playoffs, because I don't know of any significant rookies in the playoffs off the top of my head. I'm probably missing someone obvious, but yeah, hold off on buying select singles for at least the first month. I will do a PSA, public service announcement, not the grading company video separate on that here soon. Let's move into baseball. The hottest name in sports, Shohei Ohtani. His prices continue to go crazy. This is the last 7 days on his 2018 Topps Chrome. This is his base, his pink refractor, and his refractor. They're all up 20 to 30%. I recently sold one of these pinks for about $435. It's the one I got shipped home from Star Stock, and I'm not gonna lie, I missed that card. It was the right play, I think, to get out of it. I was into it for $300. I sold it for $435. I made $100 after eBay fees or whatever. As I've said a bunch on the channel, I absolutely adore Ohtani. What he is doing is absolutely insane. And maybe this is just living in fear, but the injuries with him scare the hell out of me. So I just couldn't pass up taking the $100 profit. If I really want it back again, I think I could buy it back in cheaper. But the things that he is doing this season are absolutely nuts when you really sit down and think about it. The pitching, the hitting, the numbers that he's putting up. If he can actually do this for the entire season, he will 100% be the MVP, and it'll just be mind-boggling. It is mind-boggling what he's doing. There's really no words to describe what he is doing in the game of baseball right now. As much as baseball is not a great TV product, baseball right now has some of the best young talent that I can remember in the longest time. You have Ohtani, you have Acuna, you have Tatis, and you have Soto, and that's not even counting like the next wave of kids coming up that everybody's hyped on. Whatever Wander Franco ends up being. You have Kalenic that just got called up. Julio Rodriguez is going to be up fairly soon. Hopefully, maybe, don't know. You have Jason Dominguez coming down the line, but just the actual young superstars in the league right now, you have those three plus Ohtani, Acuna, Soto, and Tatis. It's just insane how good the young talent is. It's a shame that baseball's so behind the times. You had the whole thing with Yerman Mercedes and the White Sox with him, hitting the home run on a 3-0 count and his manager getting upset with his own player for hitting a home run. Like, that's stupid. I really enjoy a lot of Trevor Bauer's takes on the whole matter, where he says, hit the home run on me on 3-0 if I'm going to give it up to you. Like, that's what baseball needs. They need that mindset to take over and get this old guard, for the sanctity of the game baseball rules out of there. Like, let these guys bat flip. Let them actually have fun, and maybe people would like and enjoy your product more. So, sorry for the mini baseball rant in the middle of this. Moving off Ohtani, Mike Trout. Trout. Out basically 2 months. His PSA 10 last 7 days, down a little bit, but it was already been trending down. If I blow this back like 30 days, he's been in a downward trend for a hot minute. Down 16% over the last 30. Obviously, the injury is probably not going to help him too much. Back down the sub 4K on this. If you want one, this is kind of the time to be buying into these big time players if you missed the window on them. And you're willing to park the money and kind of sit and wait. Trout's coming down. We'll see what LeBron prices do now that the playoffs have started. We're going to talk about Mahomes here in a minute. These superstars of each league, if you missed your chances, some of these prices are starting to come back down again. It might not be a bad idea to consolidate some of your stuff and try to move up into bigger stuff with these prices dipping. Is it risky? Sure, but just sell cards to buy cards. And then you're not really, you're just risking card money to buy more cards. And at least then you're moving it into someone much more established, like a LeBron, a Trout, a Mahomes, or whoever, versus, the younger guys, the Morants or the Rui Hachimuras or the, even the Sotos, Tatises, and Acuñas. Maybe it makes sense to sell some of that stuff while they're hot and buy Trout on the dip and just hold it long term. I feel so bad for the Angels and Trout. That, baseball's a weird game. You could be the best player and your team could suck. There's really not a whole lot you could do about it because baseball's such a team game compared to basketball. Speaking of Soto, this isn't so much about his base paper, which is basically flatlined. It kind of just stuck at 200. It had really been trending down and just kind of bottomed out. This was a $350 card not long ago. The one that really interests me is his Chrome, which continues to fall. His PSA 10 Topps Chrome, there is 10,000 of them almost on the population report. The slight difference with baseball, which one of my commenters pointed this out, and it's a really good point. You don't have as many options for rookie cards in baseball as you do basketball, especially the main ones. Like basketball, you have Prism, you have a million variations, you have Select, you have Optic, you have this, that, and the other thing. Baseball, you really don't have that. So yeah, 9,500 is a lot, but it's a more condensed because you just don't have as many choices there. I If this thing keeps going, man, I've like I said, I've been watching the Soto Chrome for a while. I would definitely like to pick some up. This is going back 14 days, actually. It's down 23%. Last ending average was 333. Look at the detailed results here. One went for 345, 321, 330. Once again, find auctions. These auctions seem to be where the deals are right now. So if there is a player or a card you're interested in, search for them on eBay and just tag a bunch of saved auctions. Just search auctions only and just tag a bunch and see what you can come up with. Moving right along here, Tatis up slightly this week, up 10%. He continues to just mash the baseball. So does Acuna. This is his Topps Chrome PSA 10. His paper had dipped quite a bit lately. I picked up one on Star Stock for a fairly reasonable price. I might like to pick up more. But he's back up over 300, back to 324. Continues to play extremely well. Same with Acuna. His prices have flatline. As of this recording, he had just hit another home run and now has the lead again with 15. And like I said before, the young talent in the baseball game right now is just absolutely insane. I am really torn between the three of who's my favorite. It was Soto for the longest time, but Acuna might be taking that top spot. I actually have more Acuna stuff than Soto stuff, but it's close. I have better Acuna stuff than Soto stuff. Not by much. I just have a couple of Chromes, nothing crazy. But yeah, I really like all three of those guys. And like I said, I love Otani, but just the injuries scare the hell out of me. Once again, if Acuna stuff dips, especially like refractors or anything like that during the season, I just think it's 100% buy. Even if the market is trending down, I don't really care. Same with Tatis, same with Soto. Any of their refractors, pinks, whatever. If that stuff dips, I would jump all over it. Worst case scenario, it will go back up in January or February prior to next season, if not for the playoffs. Let's quickly touch on football and try to get out of here under 30 minutes. Maybe. I mentioned it earlier. Maybe it's time to start consolidating and moving into the current all-time greats. And when I say all-time greats, I'm talking about, I guess all-time greats probably isn't the right word, like superstar players in the league today, like a Trout, like a Mahomes. LeBron straddles both those, but specifically Mahomes here. His PSA 10 optic is the one that I have my eyes on. This is down another 10% on, 7.5% on the week, ending at 1,600, 1,575 for an auction on this. 1,600. They were up to 1,700, but they dipped another $100 over a little 2-day gap there. These three on the 20th all sold for around 1,600 or less. This card's getting very interesting. I keep saying I'm going to pull the trigger on one, but they keep going down. I'm probably going to get cute and miss the window, and they're going to spike back up again. But yeah, 1,600 on this, even with the market trending backwards, I just have to imagine that this card goes back up at some point in time. Yeah, it's his optic base at 3,000 in a pop, but his Prism Silver is so astronomically expensive. This is the common man's Mahomes, and I think it's a pretty good one to get into. Like I said, I watch auctions for these because this thing getting sub 1,600 is nuts to me on him. Herbert. This is more talking about Prism or Select in general, so much Herbert, but as we can see here, I ran these back 30 days just so you could kind of get a vibe for what most of this stuff has done over the last 30. In fact, let me run it back I'm going to run it back 90, which should catch the full Select release. Yeah. So here's my point on what I was talking about with LaMelo. And like I said, I'll blow this out into probably its own thing. Don't buy this stuff for the first few months if you're chasing singles of any of these guys. This is his club level, his concourse, his field level, and his premier. Their initial prices to today, they're all down about 100%. Look at what they started at 300, 200, 650, 500, and look at what they're selling for today 26, 17, 75, 21. Like, if you want to buy singles, just wait. There is going to be plenty this year. Plenty. And go for, and if you're talking basketball, go for the court sides. Or if you're a buyer now, go for field levels. Like now, let me look at the last 7 to see if this stuff's finally flattened out because it had basically been trending down forever. It's looks like we finally maybe reached the bottom. Up 3%, down 3%, down 8%, up 17%. If you're looking to buy guys in this year's class, now's probably the safe time to be able to buy in and pick some of this stuff up. There just is so much of like these concourses and stuff. At least go for, I've talked about this a ton, go for the club level for just a little bit extra more. You're talking $17 to $26. It's a no-brainer to go after the club level. Now, we haven't had hardly any grading on this stuff, but I have heard the centering on select is really bad. The last thing I want to close with before we get to Sunday Spotlight is Desean Watson. He appears to have hit the bottom, and I mean that in his card prices, and have begun to slowly climb back up / flatten out. This is his 2017 Prism Silver. It bottomed out all the way down to around 400. This one went one lonely sale at 400, but basically it looks like it got down to about 475. And then you could see here this last week or so, it's slowly been ticking up again, and it's currently sitting at 600. I'm a hard pass on this. I think there's a legitimate chance he doesn't even play this entire season. And we'll see. Obviously, the legal things and all that nonsense needs to run its course. And then his optic did the exact same thing. So someone put a buy order out on Watson and was like, hey, he's too cheap. You can see the same thing here at around the same time. This bottomed out at 150. This is his optic base. And then shot back up to 260. If I was going to make, if you're saying I want to risk it and I want to go for Watson, I would go for the optic personally, just because it's a lower point of entry. So you're just taking less risk. If you buy 2 of these for 300, assuming it gets back down to 150 again, maybe it doesn't, and it flames out on you, it's a lot better than, buying his Prism Silver, or you buy 1 of these instead of a Prism Silver or 2 or whatever. To me, there's just better places I'd rather put my money. Someone's probably going to make a mint buying Watson low and selling it whenever he comes back. It's just not going to be me. I just think there's too much risk. Maybe I'm biased because I got burned by him early on when the news initially came out. I think I'm going to do a video, and I've talked about that story a lot on here, but I think I'm going to do something fully on that because I think the thought process there could potentially help someone. I don't know. Maybe it wouldn't. But he ends our charts and graphs for the week. Let's get in the Sunday Spotlight and wrap this puppy up almost right at 30 minutes. Sunday Spotlight this week is a channel I've been following for a couple months now. Found out about it from the Card Collector 2 podcast. And once again, for those that don't know what Sunday Spotlight is, this is where I try to shine a light on another content creator that I enjoy their content and watch. We've done comic book people. We've done sports card people. We've covered both sides of the tracks, if you will. And today we're diving back into the sports card world. We have had her partner in crime on before. She collects cards, the Sunday Spotlight in the past, but today we are going with her cohort Sam at Women of the Hobby. She puts out great content about twice a week, give or take. Her and She Collects Cards has a weekly show that they do that is very good, and then she has the occasional guest on from other women in the hobby as well, trying to expand the audience and break down some barriers and walls in the hobby. So go check out Sam's channel, Women of the Hobby. Only 247 subscribers is a crime against humanity. Bump that number out. Check out the work that she's doing. With all that, don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, all the YouTube stuff. Market Movers affiliate link if you want to check out Market Movers, and the coupon code is down below. If you want to make any eBay purchases, the eBay affiliate link is down there as well. We will catch you later tonight on the Sports Card Anonymous show, and we will catch you tomorrow for comic book content. Peace.